Welcome back to another episode of Coffee Meets Vodka. I'm your host, Rhea, and I'm handling life one shot at a time. Sit back, relax, let's talk all things pop culture, celebrities, gossip, trends, and let's become best friends. What? I'm just saying what everyone else is thinking. What's up, guys? You need to check on your pop culture and content friends because we are not okay. We are not doing well. I feel like I haven't slept for days. The bags under my eyes are craters. My rosacea has flared. I have like all these like little baby itchy bumps on like mostly the left side of my face, which is weird because I sleep on the right side. Whatever. I'm a side sleeper. I am glued to my phone. I feel like I'm turning into that photo, that meme of people posting when they're like, oh, this is what, everyone will look like in 30 years because they're just on their phone too much, where they're like hunched over and like their neck is out and like their eyes are bloodshot and like the back, like that's literally what I feel like. I feel like I've been through the ringer due to all of the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives stuff, Bravo stuff, feuds right and left, the Duggars. We're going to get into all of it, and I will give you a breakdown as best I can of a timeline so you can get caught up with what you need to know right now that has happened in the last 8 days. Buckle up. Here we go. Before we get into it, if you guys are loving the show, please rate 5 stars anywhere you get podcasts. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow at coffee.meets.vodka on Instagram and TikTok. I am breaking down the latest things to pop off on social media on my Instagram and TikTok accounts. So that will be out obviously before the pod, since the pod is weekly, but the pod is a good place to come to recap, and you guys should still listen and watch and support it. And I appreciate all of your love, support, comments, feedbacks, concerns, support over the years. You guys, if you do want some merch, go to coffeemeetsvodkapod.com. You can get your sweatshirts and your shirts there. I do want to drop more merch soon, but I'm a one gal show over here and I am treading water. These Mormon bitches are keeping me employed, let me tell you. Let's get into some brief topics. Although the internet was in a tizzy all week, not just the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, but let's do some other stories in case you missed it. Starting off first, our traitors reigning queen, Mora, is potentially in talks of The Bachelorette. Since The Bachelorette is canceled, I mean, people are saying that she should be on it. I would love that, but I do think Mara is too highbrow to be on The Bachelor. Like, imagine a guy from Ohio and she's gonna be like, I think you're a loser. Like, you know what I mean? And I do need her to read All the Men for Filth, but I also want her to find love. And like, she needs her own like dating show if they're gonna do it, not The Bachelor. The Bachelor is really hanging on by a thread. And Nick Viall, in all of his podcasts leading up to the release of The Bachelorette, was like, oh, Taylor Frankie Paul was my idea. Taylor Frankie Paul was my idea. There's a montage of him taking credit for casting her as The Bachelorette, or having input with casting as her as The Bachelorette. And then on his episode when they canceled, like the episode after they canceled it on Sunday, he was like, whose idea was that? That was a terrible idea. Yours. And we saw it. And I love a video montage full of evidence. So I don't know. I think Mara's a little too good for the Bachelor franchise. I really want the Bachelor franchise to die. I've never watched it. Oh, by the way, I was on Bella Talks TV podcast last week. So between my episode last week, Bella Talks TV's episode, and this episode, there's a good timeline of things that have transpired in 8 days. So go look at that. I will link it in the show notes as well. I really do think that she needs something for her own show, but not, for The Bachelorette. I did also hear, before I heard rumblings of The Bachelorette, that she was potentially going to make an appearance on Ladies of London, either like being like a friend of, or like getting cast for like next season, or something like that. I don't know. That I would also really enjoy, definitely more than The Bachelorette. I fucking love Mora. and need her on me screen. It's supposed to be Irish, my bad. Oh, also, I know Southern Charms reunions part 1 and 2 just premiered. I'm not caught up, but I did make a note. Southern Charm, the girls are so disconnected / reunion. And for the life of me, I couldn't remember what the fuck that was because I've just been so consumed with other things. What I meant by that was, don't you guys agree that the guys on the cast really have strong personalities and like dominate the screen, and the girls just feel really disconnected to me as a side character? And I do think they all have really strong personalities, which just goes to show you how strong the guys' personalities are. Guys meaning Shep, Austin, and Craig. And I just feel like they dominate the screen so much and they don't let anybody else kind of have a storyline or like, you know, get a word in edgewise. And I just feel like a little bit of the cast is like disconnected for me. Venita, I love her, but I just don't think she fits. Rod, I love him too, and I wish he would be on the screen more. It's like they're so consumed with like Craig and Austin and Shep that it's like nobody else really gets any sort of storyline. Sally is only in it because she's like trying to fuck all of them. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I think Southern Charm needs a little bit of a I say that as shake up, but I love them. I need it to be a little more cohesive, if that makes sense. Like, I need the producers in the show to like show other aspects of like the other cast lives. Does that make sense? I don't know. Let me know if you agree. The Vanderpump Villa trailer dropped, and let me tell you, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives really saved that show. They both need each other. One without the other, I feel like wouldn't be as great as it is. The whole crossover, cross-pollination of it all is like amazing. I really was waiting for Vanderpump Villa to go to the grave. I could not finish season 1. It was so awful. It was such a hard watch. It was so try hard. And then the Mormon girls really kind of spun it up with their visit to the Vanderpump Villa, with the Marciano of it all. So I actually really enjoy that show now. I would love to be a guest there as much as I would also love to be a guest on Below Deck. I believe it's only $80,000 on Below Deck. I say only as if I have $80,000 lying around. I don't. But I would love to do that. I think, honestly, Bravo is missing out on like a creator trip. And I would love to be a part of that. Ting, ting, ting. But yeah, so they are preparing for their 3rd season. And also, Pump and Tom Tom are up for sale. Casablanca's already sold. Oh, Pump is already sold, I think. Tom Tom is up for sale. So now the last Vanderpump restaurant that is still standing in California is Sir. And the new Vanderpump Rules got a season 2. You guys, I fell off. I didn't even finish it. So I fell off, but I heard it's good. I guess you should watch it. Maybe I'll pick it up. There's just so much else going on right now that I can't even bear to watch that. But Lisa's pretty smart. She is opening a hotel and restaurant. I think it's called Vanderpump in Vegas, which I went to her I think Lisa Vanderpump, I think any of the Vanderpump restaurants have great food, to be honest. Like, it's pretty inexpensive, meaning like, I don't know, like maybe like an Olive Garden price or something like that. Like a quote high end like not fast food restaurant, but like a high end chain restaurant, like where you would go in high school, like on a fancy date. You know what I mean? Like $20 for pasta, $25 for pasta. You know what I mean? And the food is actually really good. I've never had a bad experience at any one of her restaurants. And I'm actually pretty excited for this Vanderpump hotel and restaurant, and I'm sensing a trip there soon and might also be staying there for BravoCon 2027. I mean, we have 2 years, well, 1.5 years now, I guess, for the next BravoCon, and I think that it is launching, I think it'll be ready like the beginning of 27. So fingers crossed for that, which that will be great, a great tourist attraction as well. So I think she's really smart and I don't think that like Vanderpump is like a sinking ship, but like it's not what it once was, and she is pivoting at the most perfect time, and she's trying with Vanderpump Villa. She's got her hands in a lot of buckets, and I think that she should open this hotel, which is what she's probably doing, and going to make a show there, and have Marciano run it, and have some of the Vanderpump Villa people run the Vanderpump Hotel and kind of cross over that way. That's what I would do. But I'm no producer, so don't listen to me. Okay, you guys, I watched the Hannah Montana 20th special. Can I say something unpopular? I was underwhelmed. Love my girl Miley Down. My Sag sister in Christ. Love her. My Purple Aura sister. My, rebel with a cause. Love her down. Has nothing to do with her. I love it. Did we need it? Not really. We got, I'm not even kidding, 10 seconds of celebrity guests like Selena Gomez. And why was Chapel Roan there? Chapel Roan was like, you really created a way for me to be an artist today, and I thank you. And I guess she was there as a super fan, but I would disagree with that. I would say that Madonna and Lady Gaga created a way for Chapel Roan. And by the way, I would also say that this was good PR for her, in the sense that she was in the media recently for yelling at Jude Law's daughter or something like that at a hotel in Spain. And it was this whole thing. And then she came on sideways, laying down in her hotel room with a message to be yeah, I didn't hire them. I don't know. I don't really care much about Chapel Roan. I like her music, but why was she on the Hannah Montana special? I feel like that was really irrelevant. And then, wait, who else was there? Chapel Roan and Alex Cooper. Alex Cooper was there, I guess, because she initially interviewed Miley Cyrus when she broke off from Sophia Franklin of Call Her Daddy. And she ended up being Miley Cyrus's neighbor. And Miley was Alex Cooper is creepy. She was making a joke, which I kind of loved. But I don't really know why they were there. Alex Cooper didn't really lend anything to this special. And she was oh my God, Miley, no, can you believe, the wigs, iconic. She was just background noise. I don't really know. I did enjoy, Tish there and reminiscing about the clothes and, her little scrapbook. I thought the pace of the special, perfect. I would have liked to see more of the concert, I guess. I mean, there's really, I don't have any qualms other than just one, was it necessary? Two, why was Alex Cooper there? And three, why was Chapel Roan there? I mean, it was cute for what it is. I'm glad it's giving a sense of nostalgia. A lot of people are saying that they're burnt out on the nostalgia core. We're just having so many reboots and reruns of shows and movies and things, and they're doing a 13 going on 30 TV series with Emily Bader from People You Meet on Vacation. We're doing a Laguna Beach, Sit at the Beach series. They're doing, Jersey Shore as always. They're doing this Hannah Montana special. They're doing, I mean, you name it. Just everything is a constant regurgitation. It's nothing is new, and it is frustrating, to be honest. Whatever. But I thought it was cute overall, and it's it's a feel good watch if you just need to, take a beat from the world at hand and listen and watch it. Age of Attraction, Nick Viall and Joy. What's her name? What's the wife's name? Natalie Joy's show. They're hosting it. This is the most I've ever seen Nick Viall animated, and it looks painful to watch. I like him. I know that's controversial opinion. Do I listen to his podcast every single minute of my life? No, I don't even know if I've listened to even one full episode of it, but I was into the show and giving it a whirl. And I got to episode 3, and honestly, I do like the concept. The concept is cool. They kind of go on speed dates. There's people of all ages. What annoyed me is that the couples that are close in age, whether that be young or older, like very close in age, they're not shown on the show. It's only the people with the significant crazy ass age gaps that are followed and shown on the show. The largest age gap is 33. There's a Vanelle, she is 27 years old, and Jorge, who is 60 years old. And you know what? Spoiler alert, she ditches his ass episode 3, and that's what I got to. And I'm glad, because he was pressuring her and being a little F-boy at 60, and like, she doesn't need that shit. He was like pressuring her to like have sex, and she was like, I'm celibate, like I'm celibate until marriage, and I'm not gonna have sex with you before. And he would like really, really manipulative and like tried to get her to like say like why she doesn't want to have sex with him and like things like that. It's like very fucking weird. And he lied to her about having kids. He like lied by omission, and she like told the girls at like their first mixer like, oh yeah, he doesn't have kids, and like he's open to having kids with me. And then he like, it cuts to the guys and he's like, yeah, I have 2 kids. And I think they're like grown, like they might be her age. There's another guy on there, Andrew. He's 38 with a 22-year-old, vocal fry out the ass, filler at the ass, which I think is interesting that he has so much filler and Botox, because he did not do Botox on his forehead line. And I don't know if that was like on purpose, because if he had filler that like, it's such a deep line that I think would need filler there. And I wonder if he did that on purpose so he could say that like he is still natural, but his cheeks are like filled. Every single guy, for the most part, I would say like 90% of the guys, well, and women, 90% of the people on that show are fucking injected out the ass with Botox and fillers. Guys, girls. And also, I think like half of the men on there are gay. I guess the women could be gay too, but I don't know. I'm not really like clocking that, I guess. Just all of the men seem like very feminine. Okay. Which, no shade, I guess. So I'll be watching probably the rest of it. It did get a little creepy, so I'll keep you posted on that. Some disgusting news out of another kind of religious cult, the Duggars. 3 Duggars have been now incriminated for more charges involving children. You have Josh, that's behind bars for, I think his sentence was only 12 years, and I think maybe he has like 7 more to go. I like lost count. I don't know how much more he has, but he is behind bars. Anna's still married to him. Still married. Still has her kids. And still talking to him. Mind you, remember Josh was caught on Ashley Madison, and then he was caught with child photos and videos on his computer. And then I think he got out on bail or something like that. And then Anna, like, they had this program in the church to where like Anna would have access to his computer, and then he thought he got around it, but then she found it. And then anyways, he got arrested again for like infant photos and videos, and it was like disgusting. So thank God he's behind bars. Joseph Duggar, I believe he's one of the twins. The Duggars have like 3 sets of twins, and I believe he's one of them. I could be wrong on that one. He's married to Kendra Duggar, and he was arrested on molestation charges for a 9-year-old who allegedly, I heard that it was Kendra's sister, where he was like coercing her to like sit on his lap and like having really inappropriate touches and conversations and things with her. And she's older now. I think she might be like 15, and she just came out and accused them. And then Kendra Duggar, so he gets arrested, and then Kendra Duggar gets arrested like a day or 2 later for child endangerment. I don't remember if it's like because she knew about it and then was implicated, and then Michelle Duggar went and bailed her ass out. Joseph Duggar, from what I know, is still in jail right now, but Michelle bailed her out, which is Joseph Duggar's mom of Michelle and Jim Bob. And it's the more I find out about that family is so weird. Now, granted, I did grow up with them. Like, I used to watch them on TV and I love them, but I'm like their same age. So like when I was like 9 or like, you know, in elementary and junior high watching the show, like I wasn't thinking like, well, I thought the show was weird, but I thought it was weird for like other reasons. I wasn't thinking like, you know, who's getting assaulted. But it's really scary. And this 2015 interviewed recycled recently with Jim Bob and Michelle when they went on a press tour about Josh being in jail and how he's like trying to get help and whatever, and how they like raised their kids and they only had 2 bedrooms, one for the girls and one for the boys, and how, which if you do watch older like first seasons of that show, when they were in that long ass barn dominium or whatever, they all had bunk beds and they were all like in, you know, just one room. And so the girls were in one room and then they had a lock on the outside of the door. So like the boys wouldn't get in the room. They were locking the boys out of the girls' room, which is so creepy and weird. And I don't recall if they said the boys also had a lock on their door, but why are you locking your kids in their bedrooms at night? And what if they have to go potty? I don't know. But the crazy thing is, you know, Jill and Jess Duggar were victims of their older brother Josh of, you know, of being sexually assaulted. And I believe they were the only ones. They are the most vocal ones. Jill has really separated herself from the family. I would say Jill, Jessa, and Ginger have really separated themselves from the family. I'm not obsessed, but I love Ginger and her husband. He is literally so hot. He's an ex-soccer player, if you didn't know, and he's like now a pastor at a local church, I believe, or like tries to do something within the church community. And they're like normal, quote, normal Christians now. And she, you know, wrote a book, which, you know what, I forgot to read. It's still on my TBR list, but I heard it's really good. I feel like she's the most normal out of all of them. Jill and her husband, what's his name? Dillard. What's his name? Anyways, they're very like, you know, very earthy kind of hippie people. But Ginger and her husband have a podcast. They went on to say that they were like, you know, really devastated by the charges that had come out about Joseph, and, you know, they don't condone any of this. The other Duggar came out, I think, do I want to say his twin brother? I don't remember. Let me take a look. Give me just a second. Okay. Jace Duggar came out and also said that him and his wife condemned these actions. He said, "We, like many, have spent the week completely in shock, confused, and grieved, to list a few emotions. We are disgusted to hear the news about my brother. However, this isn't about how it's impacted our lives. Our hearts are burdened because a child's life has been turned upside down to evil actions of someone who should have never hurt the vulnerable. This is something unthinkable. We are angered by what has happened, and we pray God's righteous hand and the court system will serve justice in the situation as deserved. Maddie and I have always had a special place in our hearts for the vulnerable around us, and we will continue to do so. To fathom that someone would abuse their authority to harass the innocent is vile. We ask that you pray for the victim who has been brave enough to share what has happened. We also ask that you pray for his family at this time. Ooh, his family. As his children must face the reality of losing a father that should have been a spiritual leader in their lives. We stand with innocent children always. Wait, that like last sentence is like really getting me choked up. Good for them. Good for them. So, you know, I'm glad that the Duggar children, the older ones at least, have spoken out and have really tried to separate themselves. Also, they have a cousin, Amy Duggar. She's spoken out. They are also, quote, the most normal. They are, I don't know, Mormon, LDS, whatever. They're kind of the same religion. And they do have also like 18 siblings, I think, or they have 9 or something like that. But she's also, I think, is it Amy Brown? The Browns, I believe, is their last. Amy Brown, I believe, is her last name. But she's also been very vocal and standing up against the Duggars even before Josh came out with all of his stuff that he did, and she was like, no, like something's up, like this is weird, like the vibes were off, and she kind of whistle blew that. And then yeah, she's always there, first to respond, like I do not agree with anything that they do, and it is really sad. So yeah, I am praying for them, and the victims, it is really sad. So I'll be thinking of them. Something crazy happened over the weekend. There was a quadriplegic who was a professional cornhole player. Now imagine you have no arms and legs, and you're a professional cornhole player, is accused in Maryland of alleged homicide. What a headline that is. That's really all I have about that. There was a video cycling around of showing him, like, I guess him shooting like cans or something to show that like he could do it. I mean, I guess equal opportunity, but like, wow, that's what a headline. What a headline that is. Justin Timberlake's DUI footage has been released, and I have to tell you, amazing. I loved it. It was, honestly, he was nice, but like, it was so funny and like chaotic and like, I don't know, a good and bad way. So he gets pulled over, as you know, like, what is this, 2 summers ago now, for a DUI. He says, oh, I only had 1 martini and I'm driving in Sag Harbor. I'm staying up the road, like, just let me go. And then they're like, no, we can't do that. Like, you're, really swerving, like, blah, blah, blah. And somebody comes. I don't think that she was in the car with him. I think he was by himself. And this lady comes. I don't know if she said her name, but I think it was like a publicist or a friend or something like that. And I think I later read that it was like a really good friend of Jessica Biel, and then in turn, became friends, like really good friends with the couple. And I guess she was probably closest and like whatever. And she like gets to him for his like DUI, and they're like arresting him, and she's like, wait, like, please, can you just do me a favor, since you love Bye 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 and Sexy Back so much, like, can you just let him go? And I have to say, iconic. I have to say that was very me coded. And the police aren't laughing. And I guess, people are kind of speculating that she's like kind of drunk too or whatever. And I think she admits to having like 1 glass of wine, but like, I would also do that sober. Like, what do you mean? Like, wait, like, let me just drive my friend home. I don't know. And then they didn't know who Justin Timberlake was. And then, I don't know, the whole thing was like really funny. And then, I mean, well, thank God nobody was hurt. It's not funny to drink and drive, but just like the interaction, like the police officer goes, like, what are you doing here? Or something like that. And he's like, the tour, the world tour. And he's like, and the officer, because remember, he was like, I don't know, 18 or whatever, 19, and like didn't know who Justin Timberlake was. So he was like, he's probably like, wow, this guy's like really fucked up, because what do you mean? Like, now he's like drunk driving, and now he thinks he's on like a world tour. Like, imagine. So he's like, the world tour, he's like, this is gonna ruin like the world tour. And he's like, what the fuck? And then he's like, what's your name? He's like, Justin Timberlake. And he's like, okay. And he's like, you don't know who I am? But like, dead ass, like, I'm sorry, like, you don't know who Justin Timberlake is? Like, he is in a lot of movies. This is not like a one-hit wonder type of boy band guy. Like, he's in a lot of movies. He was in NSYNC. He has a very successful solo career. He's clearly on a world tour. So, I don't know. That was so funny. And then when he gets to this station, he's getting fingerprinted and like filling out paperwork, and like they fill it out for him, and they're like, hey, check to make sure this is true. And then he's like, why? I'm just kidding. Like, what? Anyways, I think he had to spend like the night or 2. But anyways, he has a DUI. I don't think it ruined the world tour, but the footage was really funny. Oh, the iHeart Music Awards were last night. iHeart Radio Awards were last night or whatever. And I have to tell you, I have not even watched anything else other than consumed with the reality TV drama. And Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce made their first red carpet like award show debut together, and she kind of looked like she was in debut attire. whatever. I'm over it. But what I wanted to say was, and she won like 7 awards, album of the year. Okay, I don't know. Anyways, she won 7 awards. You can look them up. Love her down. But this is what I wanted to say. Originally last year, I think, after the football season ended, Travis Kelce, I guess he never maybe really said that he was retiring, but I think it was like, or maybe he did, but I think it was speculated that he was going to retire after the 2025 season. And it's come out this week that he just signed another season to go back to the Chiefs for $57 million. And I feel like I'm the only one not on board with that. Why? Let's quit while you're ahead. I wanted him to take the John Cena route, the Rock route. I understand that maybe like his position on the field isn't the most dangerous. Like, I don't know what a tight end does. I think they just defend, or I don't know that he gets tackled or is going to get CTE, but I do think that he should quit while he's ahead. Like, you know, they're getting married this summer, allegedly, in Rhode Island, June 13th, 2026. So we'll see if that comes true. But I just feel like you could be doing something else. And the reason why I think he did this is because I did see a clip of the New Heights podcast of him saying like, oh no, Taylor's like a working machine. Like, she's always inspired. She's always writing songs. She's always singing and playing this and doing this and sampling that and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, it's just so inspiring to be around somebody who's still so in their career and like, you know, like wanting, like continuing to grow and thrive. And I think I get it. I get it. Like, he doesn't know what he wants to do when he retires, but I have a plan for you. I think you should act. Second of all, I don't want to say it's like jealousy, but I think it's like he doesn't want to be like a dud loser. And I do get it. Like, yeah, like you don't want to settle like now that you got married or like you're engaged, now all of a sudden you quit your job. Like, I get it. I just think you could have done a different route. You could have continued the podcast and you could have continued the acting route. I know a lot of people aren't into it, but I personally am into it. So I don't know. I don't really care about the discourse, but I don't know. It's like he should have just quit while he was ahead. Okay, Heather Gay is coming out with her first ever fiction book, and it is called, let me look it up for you. It's called Eternal Glow, and it's going to be released October 6th, 2026. So it'll be released this year. There has been a lot of discourse online by this author. We'll read from Reality Blurb. Real Housewives, Salt Lake City, Heather Gay is accused of ripping off book cover by Melanie Blake as author slams disappointing slight, and Monica Garcia weighs in. Monica Garcia liked my story the other day because I reposted what she said about it. Heather Gay is being blasted on social media by author Melanie Blake after ripping off her book cover. Days after 51-year-old Salt Lake City star announced the upcoming release of her latest publication, Eternal Glow, Melanie, 49, called her out on Instagram and X, shading the move as stupid and disappointing as Heather's former castmate Monica Garcia, 42, weighed in. I'll address this properly tomorrow, as of tens of thousands of DMs flagging out the rip-off of my Ruthless Women cover by Heather Gay's publishing team. They do say copying is the highest form of flattery, but it is fair to say, like millions of fans, I'm not fucking happy about it. Melanie wrote in her Instagram story via reality TV Hot Tea on X, and particularly stupid to think that no one would notice when my book is an international bestseller in 9 languages. As you'll notice, her cover is a mixture of my UK design and Czech color scheme editions. Even though the stories are entirely different, the cover snatch is fucking disappointing, to say the least. She goes on to say that it's not a stock photo and that she got, I guess, inspiration from a stock photo or something like that. And she reshot it. She hired a photographer and editor and all these things, and she reshot it. And those are her hands and her lips in the original cover art, and that Heather Gay is ripping either her off or using a stock photo or something like that. Yeah, and that's a drama you need to know. I will say I'm going to be reading Heather's fictional book because she loves to tell a little white lie here and there. We'll have to see it if it has any inklings of, any black eyes or anything like that. Okay, before we get into the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives drama that has everything that has happened in the last 8 days, I want to catch you up on Ciara Miller and Amanda Batula of Summer House. Their feud. They are fighting. The girls are fighting, and it is weird. Remember how a couple of weeks ago I was like, oh, I don't care about the Amanda Ciara West discourse. Like, they didn't make out. Like, quit trying to make fetch happen, Okay, well, apparently more things have come out, and it's really damning evidence. Haven't seen the photo of this alleged photo that is being blasted through Snarkbait Pod that is saying that Amanda and West were seen kissing with the blinds open. Somebody across the street that lives in the apartments across the street from Amanda Batula's apartment that she lives separately from Kyle, because now they're like divorced or separated. She lives alone. Saw them kissing and took a picture. So you're telling me windows were open, blinds were up. They're standing right by the window. You were being a peeping Tom. Took a photo. Didn't post it anywhere, didn't sell it to TMZ, didn't send it to Demois, didn't do anything, but instead tried to get in touch with Ciara directly. Apparently, Ciara went over to the girl's apartment, saw the photo, confirmed it was them. They were booked for an Amazon Live for Ollie Wellness to do together, and they ended up doing it separately. Amanda and Ciara ended up doing the Amazon Live separately. They haven't been liking each other's posts. In fact, there's rumors saying that they have each, or at least Ciara has unliked Amanda's post. They still follow each other on Instagram to this day, as of right now, this hour. Ciara has never followed Amanda Batula's swimwear line. And I find the rumors to be hard to believe, but at the same time, as chronically online as these people are, they are not making a peep. Wes has not denied the rumors. Amanda has not denied the rumors. And the season finale of Summer House is like coming up in the reunion. So I wonder if they're waiting for the reunion to address the rumors and try to get more eyeballs on it. But they're having a great season. So I don't know why. I mean, I guess ratings are ratings and more eyeballs are always good. But I don't know why you would need to like boost ratings for Summer House, because like it's doing well. Love the new cast. I will say, I'm not going to be too harsh on the girls, but I will say Amanda's at the bottom of the pyramid for me. She's always been a pick-me. She started off as Kyle's booty call, and I just feel like she's a little like boy crazy, and I didn't really get the girl aspect. I don't know if these women or anybody on reality TV really knows the definition of being a girl's girl. But I don't know. I mean, if the rumors are true and it's looking like they are true, this is going to be the most shocking thing, more than Secret Lives, more than Scandoval, more than anything that has ever come out of the bravosphere or any sort of reality TV. Because how on earth could you betray your best friend like that? I don't know. So I will be posting in real time on Instagram and TikTok. So be sure to follow me, and I'll be recapping it on the pod weekly. So that's where we're at now. All right, you guys, let's get into some Secret Lives of Mormon Wives updates. Okay, I've tried to put together a timeline as best as I could for you, okay? Last Thursday, 8 days ago, I was getting my hair done when the news dropped of the domestic violence video and took the internet by storm, and I have not been off the internet in 8 days. Like, I've barely slept, like, dead ass. I've been waking up in the middle of the night, like, thinking, like, what have I missed? The video was really hard watch. A lot of people have said, well, if they knew and everybody knew, and this was in 2023, and it opened with Secret Lives of Mormon Wives pilot of Taylor Frankie Paul getting arrested for the DV and, like, all these things, like, why is everybody shocked? Everybody is shocked because they're seeing the footage in real time. We never saw the footage previously. That's my take on it, why I think people are shocked. It's shocking. And, the fact that she grazes her daughter and doesn't console her, doesn't do anything for the daughter, goes on to have a baby with Dakota, like continues to date him after this domestic violence charge, after the mugshot, after him locking her in the garage, after him recording her throwing the chair, dates him, goes on to have Ever with him. So now she's got an ex-husband, a baby daddy, basically 2 ex-husbands and 3 kids. Then went on The Bachelor to have more husbands and kids, and they were going to be a stepdaddy? I don't know. So that broke Thursday, March 19th. Same day as I was going to go to bed, I clocked out. My head hit the pillow. I get an alert saying that Jesse and Jordan of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives filed for divorce via TMZ. Jessie was on her way to an award show, I think, or she was doing some press. And there's a video of her in the car on the phone with TMZ because they called her, texted her, and was like, hey, this is TMZ. We're confirming that this is true. And she's like, what? She's finding out in real time in this like social media video that Jordan filed for divorce. Backing up, she says that she told Jordan that she was going to file for divorce, you know, and that they should do it together, but they want to tell the kids first. She told him that on Friday the 13th. So he beat her to the punch, wanted to get ahead of it. And I guess apparently him and Dakota are thick as thieves. So if Dakota was in the press, then Jordan had to be in the press. So he went ahead and filed. And not only did he file, a couple of days later, I believe that he filed a temporary restraining order against Jessie, which later did get denied. And we'll get into that. So they filed for divorce. Well, he files for divorce. The kids are young, but they do, I think, find out via TMZ. And she's blindsided. She's shocked. Let's move on. Okay, so we have the TMZ video breaking on Thursday, March 19th, and we have Jessie and Jordan filing for divorce Thursday, March 19th. Let's move on. Friday, March 20th, ABC cancels The Bachelorette season 22, Taylor Frankie Paul's season. Unprecedented times. This has never happened in the history of ABC and Hulu and Disney. And I just feel like, you know, what's crazy is, and what I talked about on Bella Talks TV podcast, is that there was leaked Zoom audio from this meeting that they had with the Disney, ABC, Hulu execs, one being concerned about Taylor Frankie Paul's mental state and her going on The Bachelorette, and then 2 of them saying, like, what do you mean you didn't know? That you're really telling us right now that you didn't know that they were this toxic, that it was this bad? And, you know, he was trying to say, like, I don't want to hear it. Like, the less I know, like, basically you're going to be implicated, you know? So put a pin in that. This is saying same day, March 20th, reports confirm cast members have previously warned ABC execs about disturbing footage involving Paul before the leak. So they're trying to say that, like, how did you not know about this? March 20th and 21st, Friday and Saturday, production of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives season 5 is on pause. Production pauses, and then the girls pause. And then I think production kind of wants to resume, and then the girls are like, no, we're full stop. At this point, 8 days later, we are still not picking up cameras, and that was just the tip of the iceberg. It is beyond me that they do not have cameras rolling right now. It's actually terrifying. I need the cameras to be up and rolling. Another domestic violence investigation was underway. A third domestic violence offense between Taylor Frankie Paul and Dakota Mortensen broke out over the weekend. So 3. We don't really know much about that. I'm confused. I think that one might be the one where she chokes him with a necklace. I'm not too sure. We still don't know too much about that, but she is being investigated currently. Okay, March 22nd to March 25th. Now we're Saturday to Monday. Authorities review multiple allegation incidents. The 2023 case previously charged and pleaded what we knew about, the 2024 alleged incident, and then February 2026 investigation that just broke out, which is, what we're just hearing about. It indicates a pattern of alleged domestic disturbances, and Taylor Frankie Paul is under investigation for domestic violence. And it's like a little scary. Later that day, the multiple cast members publicly condemned domestic violence. And a lot of people were like, why are you talking about it now? Like, why now? Why this spur? And they said they never knew the extent of the video and, kind of what was going on behind closed doors. Although what they already knew was already extremely dark. They saw the video in real time with the public. And Miranda came out, Layla came out. I know them for sure came out and said and made statements to say that they condemn the acts of both Taylor Frankie Paul and Dakota for this domestic violence video for 2023 and any future acts that they, do. And the girls are also saying why the season 5 is on pause is because they don't feel comfortable filming with Taylor Frankie Paul. I wouldn't either. I think she needs to go away for a little bit, get some help, and then she can come back to the show. March 24th to March 26th. Production reportedly attempts to resume filming briefly and then halts again after further developments tied to the investigation. Late March 2026. Okay, now that's a wrap on Taylor Frankie Paul. She is laying low. Actually, she's not even laying low. She's out there commenting on people's posts. She's posting like nothing happened. She's, I guess, as she says, working. Okay? In the meantime, switching gears, Jessie Draper goes on to Call Her Daddy podcast, dropped Wednesday. And I have a lot of highlights from that, but I'm going to kind of go over a little bit of, actually, let me go through the highlights on that one. Oh, also I forgot to mention that within these days of announcements, I guess, quote, some positive news is that Jen Affleck is getting a spinoff of like Mormon Wives OC. Apparently she's down there. Michaela's already down there. Macy is down there, I believe. Layla posted the other day on her story that she was looking for a house in LA. So I guess they're gonna try to do some spinoff of OC. I guess I'm gonna have to watch it, but I'm not really interested in that. I am, however, interested in a Whitney spinoff. If she can do that with her family, I would be obsessed with it. Okay, let me pull up my notes that I tried to take desperately during the Call Her Daddy interview. Okay, as I mentioned, Jessie found out about her divorce from Jordan via TMZ, and they were going to file together and tell the kids together. He disrespected that. He disregarded that, went and filed anyways. Jordan tried to silence Jessie by putting a clause for no podcasts or interviews post-divorce. Scary. Oh, Jessie dropped the bomb, like, kind of beginning of the midway through this episode when she got done talking about, like, recapping Taylor Frankie Paul and all these things. She dropped a bomb that during season 1, episode 1, right before I think they started filming or right as they were filming, she got a message from an escort service saying that Jordan was in their system and hiring multiple girls through this escort system using Jessie's credit card. So at the time, Jordan was working, and Jordan has not worked in the last 3 years. So all money that he's been spending has been Jessie's. And I guess previously she like is kind of nice about it and was like, it's joint, but like he used specifically her credit card, I think, for this. And the escort service sent Jessie receipts and she confronted Jordan and he said that it was AI. Okay. Also, in addition to that, Jessie's sister was out to dinner and someone came up to her and asked Jessie's sister if Jordan and Jessie were still together. And she was like, yeah, why? And she was like, well, because we've been seeing them at these orgy parties. which is crazy that Jordan is just out here at these like parties, these orgy parties. Alex Cooper does ask her if like any of the other Dad Talk members are a part of these orgy parties, and she says she doesn't think so. This was happening way before they even started filming, so Jordan was like a monster on his own, and she doesn't think that any of the other Dad Talk members were a part of these orgy parties. So not only was he cheating on Jessie with escorts and orgies, he was spending her money as well as gaslighting her, manipulating her, emotionally abusing her, spying on her. Let's keep going. After Jessie finds out about the escort receipts and it's confirmed, and she said she kind of buried her intuition about it, but she like knew deep down that it probably was true. She kissed Marciano 2 weeks after that. After that, Jordan severely kept like gaslighting her, saying like, you've been doing like other things, like I know you did other things. And it's like, what is that saying? Like a guilty conscience? And it's like he was like projecting onto her, and she's like, I literally didn't, like I kissed him, like that was it. In the last 3 years, Jessie is the sole breadwinner and he hasn't worked. Her money. Doesn't know if anybody else in Dad Talk is participating in orgies. I just said that. I'm just going down my list. Okay, Jordan has spied on her through the cameras in her house. And I don't know if it was like in the show. I think it was in the show, or it was like on a TikTok or something. But like they had like a camera in the kitchen, and like they were fighting. And he was like really gaslighting her and like yelling at her and screaming at her and like really emotionally abusing her. And like that is terrifying. That's an uncomfortable, terrifying situation to be in, to be married to live with, to have kids with. It's like very scary. Jordan also tried to say that she was like hooking up with Harry Jowsey or something like that. And so Harry dropped the voice memos in a TikTok, and they were just like bantering. There was like nothing there. And it was like AI, like Jordan had AI'd like these DMs that quote somebody sent to him. And he just hacked her social media, her cloud, her email, like all of this really sinister stuff. And then doctored those DMs with Harry Jowsey, and then like confronted her and was like, oh, you're cheating on me with him. Oh my God, it's terrifying. He tracked her, he spied on her via cameras, he hacked her social media, and she had to get a new phone number because of this, because he like wouldn't leave her alone. And like as they separated, like she was like, no, I can't do this anymore. Also, she moved out of her house that she paid for solely on her own. He's still living there. And I did have that question, like, and luckily she answered it right as I was having that thought. She said that she left the house because she doesn't feel comfortable there. She doesn't feel safe. When he's there, he unplugs the cameras, so she doesn't have access to it. But so she stays in a hotel down the street, but she lets him stay there because she doesn't want any part of it. And she's like, we're selling the house soon, it doesn't matter. Which, by the way, I think she already sold the house. Which, you know what, now that I'm thinking about this, I remember her like a couple months ago, she was like posting on stories about how she was moving and like her closet and stuff. And I was like, what the hell? Like, why are you moving? Like, that's so random. And this was even before I think they decided to file, or maybe she moved twice. I don't remember. But long story short, she's moving now and the house is getting put on the market. She goes on to say how extremely emotionally abusive he is and like has been, and that she was married previously and it wasn't a good situation, and that she is recognizing a pattern and that she's trying to change it, and that she felt like Jordan was her savior and like a shoulder to cry on, and that they met. I think she was like divorced in September. They met in September, August, like around that time, and then were married by March. So they were married 6 months later and then started to have more kids. So, I do appreciate that she was honest in the fact that like, she was taking responsibility in the sense that like, it is the culture. There's a lot of deep-seated, ingrained that is going on there, right? You have the religious aspect, you have the female aspect, you have the submissive aspect, you have the culture aspect. It's hard. So, you know, I do think that she is aware, and unlike Taylor, you know, she is doing, in my opinion, the right thing of what I've seen, that she, you know, is shown, you know, trying to like get out of it and do things the legal way. Now, they did have a prenup, and thank God that it was valid. There was some talks of saying that maybe it wasn't valid because the witnesses didn't sign, but it ended up being valid. We have good authority that it is valid, and that, you know, everything is hers and he won't get anything of her business, I don't think, or maybe he gets like a portion or something because they do have kids together. But yeah, thank God. Jordan wanted Jessie to be a Pilates princess and to like stop working, and he also wasn't working, and they had a nanny full time, and he would not help out with the kids. He would like golf all day while she was at the salon running a business, multi-million-dollar business, mind you, doing hair school, doing her online classes, like, you know, all these things for her hair empire, filming TikToks, then coming home and taking care of the kids on top of them having a nanny and Jordan allegedly being home all day, but he wanted to golf. So it like still wasn't enough, which is so gross. Her last straw, she said, was Jordan blackmailing her with the Marciano TikToks. Like, I guess they had been like DMing, and when Jordan hacked her Instagram and like TikTok and stuff and text messages, he was screenshotting it and like had a TikTok ready to go in the drafts. And like every time she would piss him off, he would just like show her and be like, look, I'm gonna post it. And then she said like the final straw was like one day she was like a grown woman chasing her husband around the house, and he started recording like Dakota and like trying to bait her and say, oh, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna hit me? You're so angry. Very, very sinister. Also, Jessie and Marciano haven't talked for a year and says that it is done and over. And I, for one, am really sad. Rip Messy. I hate that. I really thought that they were hanging out this weekend at Chase's birthday, which brings us to our next point, that she was actually hanging out with somebody else, aka Chase. New details have emerged in the last 24 hours that she was caught kissing Chase over the weekend, sent Miranda apology flowers, and is kind of just going on business as usual, acting like nothing happened. Miranda has made one statement. Let me read it to you. She gave a statement to Entertainment Tonight. Unfortunately, I am familiar with this territory. I knew there had been communication between Chase and Jessie, but not to that extent. When Chase was up front and told me that they were talking and that they had then Chase was up front and told me that they were talking and that they had kissed. Talking? Like dating? Moving on. Jessie reached out only after she knew Chase had told me something was going on with them. And today, at the same time, a rumor started spreading online that something was going on with Jessie and Chase. I received apology flowers from Jessie. What I never want to get misconstrued is that there is not any emotional attachment to Chase. He is my co-parent. Although I do feel disrespected by Chase, I am slighted by my friend. Chase and I are no longer partners, and while I have a high expectation of him as a co-parent, I also hold my friends to the high regard and believe in girl code. Nobody on TV is believing in girl code. With everything going on and all the chaos, I am just focusing on my kids. As unfortunate as the film break is, and it is, then also this betrayal, I'm going to try to focus on my kids and reground myself. I'm still processing it and moving forward. Fucking sad. I don't know how you could do this to Miranda. I don't know why Chase is giving the community dick. I mean, I would be in line as well, but not in line. I would be first. My point is like Chase is hot, and all of the guys in Utah seem to be really hot. And it's just like, is there no other men in this universe, your world, to hook up with other than your best friend's ex-husband, who she has kids with and is still legally married to? Like you guys aren't like, this is not an ex-boyfriend. This isn't like somebody that she didn't date seriously. Like, this is your friend's ex-husband. They shared a life together and was married for many of years. And it's just giving ran through. It's giving ran through. He's hooked up with, and also shame on Chase. So he's hooked up with Taylor with the swinging scandal. He's kissed Jesse. And he's hooked up with Shania, which is Miranda's other best friend. He just keeps hurting this girl right and left. And you know, at this point, there is no coming back from that. I don't think there was ever coming back from that. But if there was ever going to be a redemption tour, it's nowhere in sight now. So that is where we're at this point in time. I also found out that Chase and Jesse are allegedly 6 cousins. I mean, it is the wild, wild west out there, you guys. It is crazy times. I'm glued to my phone. And that is really all of the updates I have for you. I mean, I feel like this is a jam-packed episode. More updates will be coming out this weekend. Make sure you're following coffee.meets.vodka anywhere you get podcasts, and on YouTube and on Instagram and TikTok. And I will be keeping you guys abreast on this crazy reality situation. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.